Hello and welcome to BDA Chat, the podcast where we talk about all things creative and marketing. This is now episode 37. Time flies when you're having fun. And as you may have noticed from people who tune in regularly, there is no Lee Williams here today. He is on holiday.
He's on holiday.
And he's drinking pina coladas on the beach.
Instagramming all the time. It's really annoying.
He's being very busy on Instagram.
He has.
But thankfully, you've got me, Rob Jarvis, guiding this podcast and two kind of familiar faces on my right. So without further ado, let's do some introductions. First of all, on my right, we have lover of expensive brands.
It's true.
And head of strategy, Camilla Smith.
Thank you.
What was the thing you bought at the weekend? Did you buy anything?
No.
No? Okay. We're just making sure.
I did. I just hiding it.
And on my far right, we have the lover of Marmite. All things Marmite. Mr. Marmite, the Marmite magician, the Marmite maestro, and our creative director.
Thank you for
Paul
that
Richings.
very Marmitey introduction. Rob.
Marmitey, I like that. So here's the team today. No Lee Williams, but we're going to guide you through episode 37, where we talk about the automotive industry. And before we get started, why are we talking about the automotive industry? Well, it's quite an emotive industry. Cars are emotive. I think cars, we get excited when we're getting a new one. We get attached to the cars that we own. We also kind of get sad when our cars have to be sold.
We get quite attached to our cars, don't we?
Yeah.
Some people name them.
Yeah.
Paul, have you ever named a car?
I haven't named a car, no, but I do know people that name them.
I have.
Okay, what was the name of one?
Thomas the car.
Was it a tank?
No, that was the whole point of it, though. It was a little bit of a brick on wheels. It was pretty bad.
Nice. And why are they emotive? Because they follow us through a lot of life's events, whether that's going for a job interview, whether that's our first date or picking up our child from the hospital after birth. You know, they follow us everywhere and we get quite attached. And manufacturers, brands and marketing companies pick up on this because that emotion actually leads to a lot of creative options, whether you're going at it from a sort of this is very emotional and attachment, or the more humorous side. And today, our focus is on automotive because there's so many options and it's so varied out there. We work with quite a few clients in the industry. And I brought along the two guys. They've been looking around the internet. They've seen some things, and we're going to share them with you today. So before we get started, Paul, what was your first ever car?
It was a pea green VW Golf.
Yes, pea green.
Pea green?
Pea green, yeah. You couldn't miss it.
I love that description of a colour as well. Pea green.
That's quite...
Which, you know, at its time was probably quite standout, but now colours of cars are just, you can pretty much choose anything you like now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably the same colour as your seat, Rob.
Really?
Wow.
That bright? And there wasn't this the old wives' tale about green being unlucky for cars?
For women, apparently. Women drivers don't like green cars. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from.
No.
Okay, so we've been looking around.
Did you ask me about my first car?
Well, what was your first car?
Kind of rude.
God, I didn't want to labour the fact, but go on.
I had a VW Polo called Thomas.
One of the square ones.
It was a rust colour, like that was the actual colour of it. Like
I know the colour, yeah.
And I wrote it off, actually.
Oh, Camilla.
I know. My first two cars I wrote off.
Oh, Camilla.
So bad.
Wow.
But yeah, I loved that car. And I lived in London at the time. It did some long
everywhere
drives. Yeah.
Well, that's what we mean. And that's why it's so emotive. And that's why
Absolute bucket,
the marketing behind it can be powerful.
Come on in, RJ.
Yeah,
What was yours?
It was a silver Astra. Ooh. But the funny thing about it was it had stripes and stars on the side. And it was called the Celebrity 88. So at sixth form, it was like the in-betweeners pulling up at sixth form. And then everyone going, oh my God.
It's called the Celebrity
it's the
what?
88. That's the year it was made.
Oh, yeah.
88
It's
Astra.
arrived.
And it was silver with stripes. Oh, it was amazing. It had a rubber spoiler. Anyway, it was quite a class act. So anyway, back to, guys, what have we seen? Who wants to kickstart us with some automotive inspiration?
Well, I think we both wanted to talk about the same one this morning,
did.
actually.
Which we've only just found out. So
Yeah.
let's just maybe watch it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one from Audi.
Here it is. Just cue it up.
It's a couple of days old, I think, isn't it? It's pretty new.
Yeah, I think it came out last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we actually going to sit through the...
Yeah.
Is this the right thing? Oh.
I know. makes sense in a minute.
Oh, hello. Oh.
What's not to like about that?
That's it.
Wow.
What's an advert?
I've never seen that.
That's BDAchat that pulled that together. I just thought it was really funny.
Do you know what? When I first was watching that, then I was like, "Have we got the right thing here?" Because there's no car for the first half of that advert as well. It's setting the scene. It feels like an action
First
movie.
30 seconds is nothing.
Nothing at all about the car. They're setting the scene, and you're thinking, oh, "What is this?" But then it's just,
It's funny, isn't it?
it's hilarious.
I personally like the face wipe when he's kind of drinking the champagne. It's
And
like,
the sweat off the face
brilliant.
down the. Oh my
I just like
goodness!
the mix of, the obvious brief there was, this is a luxury car we're selling. We want to sell a luxury car. It's not just got nice seats in it, it's got a foot massager in it.
I need that in
And
my
we're going to
car.
combine that with martial arts.
It's
Where
like a
does that
dream come
from?
true,
Just-
isn't
I
it?
just- Yeah.
I'd love to have
the
seen their
humour
process
and
in
the
that. It was
combination
great.
there, brilliant.
And the cars look amazing, don't they? I mean, and then when you kind of open and the lights come on and the music, it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's done really nicely.
Really
I
well
thought.
done. Really well done.
Especially even the music choice in the car, and it's great.
Okay, so that's the Audi one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to add to that?
I've got a Volvo one.
Okay.
It's not quite as exciting, I bet.
No, it's not. I feel it's different. But what do you think of when you think of Volvo cars? What's your first thing that comes into your mind? What's your thought and opinion of Volvo cars?
Safe.
Yeah, very safe.
So
very,
safety.
They've never really shook off that image for me of just being safe boxes.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, same.
Yeah, safe, square, safe.
Yeah.
Kind of, family and practical.
Mhm.
Practical
Yeah.
comes to mind.
I think they've come quite a long way, and I've seen a couple of campaigns recently that they've done, specifically for their V60 estate family car.
Okay.
But I'll show you like the first one, so the old vintage stuff. This is the stuff that this is 70s. My dad had a Volvo. We've always had like a Volvo estate in the family knocking around. It's quite a farmy kind of car as well.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That is a brick.
So should a car with a reputation for being so safe go so fast? They're trying to do the safety thing with the speed thing. They are like a brick, aren't they? I kind of love it for that brickness, though.
You could even fit a leather Chesterfield in the back
Well,
of one.
that's it. And that's why my dad always got called up to go to the skip, go to there, because he had the room. The world's fastest baggage handler. It's so true, but I think just looking at marketing in the automotive industry in general, like how far it has come from adverts like this in the 70s, where it's about space, it's about speed. This is quite cheeky. The Volvo Turbo as most commonly viewed from the BMW 318i. I mean, that's quite cheeky for in the 70s, isn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what
It's
stands
like
out
a
for me?
finger up to
Yeah.
BMW. I thought that was quite fun.
And I mean, it's aggressive, isn't it? That's aggressive. Go after your potential competitors or anyone else in the market.
Yeah.
But this stood out to me because it kind of shows the evolution of marketing. Back then, they didn't have websites to direct people to, so it's not a short, sharp advert that you go to Audi.com or sorry, in this case, Volvo.com. It's literally we've got to get the information into this ad
And why they
because
should
there's
buy
nowhere
this
else.
car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So it's
look at
quite an
that.
evolution.
I just
I
quite
think
like looking at old ones.
Some of those headlines as well, I think, heavily inspired by VW at the time because they were the purveyors really of press ads at the time.
Yeah.
And I think probably not quite as much copy. VW managed to cut back on the copy, Rob, coming back to your point, but definitely a similar nod to their tone there.
Love it. The turbo wagon.
I love it. But I'm going to compare that to some stuff that they've done recently. So this is for a global campaign that they've been running, and it's for their V60 family estate car. And it tied in with Pride weekend. So in Westfields in London, Shepherd's Bush, Grey London, the agency, created different kind of Volvo
Yeah.
stickers to put on the car parking space. So they're
Okay,
saying that
yeah.
families are basically, they look a lot different in 2018. So you've got 2 elderly women
So it
with
might-
2
yeah.
kids, for example, you know, a man and a woman with 2 kids and a baby, and 2 different couples with a child. So
Yeah.
it's just looking at the diversity of families and how
Yeah.
family has changed compared to like the family wagon that we think of with the Volvo, which is quite a nice, tiny little
Nice.
touch. And it was for the weekend only, just to support Gay Pride Weekend, which was good.
Yeah.
And I just quite like that. But then I looked at, well, what else
Well,
did they do for the campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I love it because it's quite emotive. And you remember a few weeks ago on one of these podcasts, we talked about McCain chips, and everyone's seen that advert where it's like, what is family to
Yeah.
you? And families are very different from just, you know, the standard, the norm. And again, this plays
It's the
into
same
that, doesn't
thing,
it?
isn't it?
We're a family wagon, we're a family brand, but what is family
What's a
now?
family in
It can be
2018?
so
It's so
different.
different.
Yeah, I really like this.
And they also did a suite of, I think it was 15 really short portraits, like really short videos for the V60, which were across different mediums, both broadcast and social as well. And just play a couple of these, Rob.
Yep. Tell
But
me when
it's-
to stop.
If you look at how far they've come,
I remember
they're
this
really
one.
short,
I
they're
remember
only
this
10
one.
seconds long. Protect what's important to you, that's their main. So that's the first one. So they're tiny, really. So emotive music.
Really emotive.
And then quite like, okay,
Yeah.
different kind of family. But they're trying to be emotive in a very short period of time, like 10 seconds. Again, the classic family that you
Yeah.
would deem as classic. It's my mum. She's got so many of those in her house.
Orchids.
So just picking up the baby from
Yeah.
as you were saying, from the hospital.
Okay.
So it's
yeah.
all those life moments. You don't have to play anymore, but
Okay.
there's quite a few. Just all those different life moments, really.
Yeah. So, I mean,
It's quite a contrast when you look at what
That's
they
what I
were
was gonna
doing
say, and-
compared to what they're doing now.
and quite a different approach to Audi, who've gone for all action, kind of show you all the features and the mod cons of this luxury Audi car
Yeah.
with a humorous kind of action-packed backdrop. This is just playing
It's
on those.
pure family. It's
Yeah.
pure, which I quite like. I quite like that, and I think Volvo has still got that stigma attached to it,
I
which
think
is
so,
working
yeah.
terribly hard to change.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think that changes it very much. Not in my
No.
opinion.
It
but,
doesn't,
you know,
but it
that's
puts
probably
them
not
neck and neck with the
where
rest.
they want to be.
You
Yeah.
know, in that kind of different way of looking at family and
Yeah.
marketing.
And they're
to
the
that
first
audience.
ones to step up to the plate and say they're going to get rid of diesel engines too by 2020.
Yeah,
aren't
that's
they? So-
great.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No. No,
that's
good for
great.
Volvo. And in fact, it's funnily enough, leading on from you, obviously didn't know you had selected Volvo. I also selected Volvo from a user experience point of view. So I'm just going to bring it up on screen.
I didn't think Volvo would get so much attention.
No,
on this.
nor did I. And I've kind of picked it because I thought, do you know what, Volvo, for me, this is their website. It's relatively new, but what they've clearly done is they've spent a lot of time understanding their user base, how they use the website. And there's two things here which really stand out for me. One, actually, I'm going to bring up the site itself because I think it has more impact. Let's see if this works. Sorry if tech fails us here. Okay, two things for me. They've gone for very much this kind of lifestyle feel. If I scroll down the page just quickly, it feels a little bit like a car magazine. You know, lots of lovely shots. You know, a very lifestyle feeling website. But
Yeah.
more importantly to me, what they've done is they've really broken up their navigation. I had a quick play around trying to get from A to B in this website, and they've done it beautifully. They've got these constant, whether you're on mobile or desktop, you've got your four main. Oh, that's disappeared. Your four main, they've disappeared. Call to actions at the bottom. So at any point on your journey, you can jump into one of these areas. And again, works beautifully well on mobile. So across here we have, if you can't see, brochure, price list, car configurator, book a test drive, so on and so forth. Really nicely done. But also they just really broke up the website really well. And for a period of time, they did a lot of user testing. So when people arrived at their website, they were asking, well, what have you come here for today? Just answer this one question. Is it to look at our selection of cars? Is it to inquire about a test drive? Is it for X, Y, or Z? And people just answered that, and they just collected so much data to realise what the top 4 or 5 things were their users really wanted. And I think you see it more and more often now, websites asking their users actually on the site, what are you here for today? But again, I'm not going to click you through the entire website now, but it's really nicely done. You know, full screen imagery, really striking imagery. And I know, you know, oh, actually, you saying that, there's one bit which I really liked, so it keeps jumping. Let me just show you this. And I thought this was a really clever use. Sorry, trying to do it back to front. And down here, they've included a 360 video of their car. So when this loads in a second, it really gives you a feel through their website what it could be like to be sat in the driver's seat of this car. So let me just see if this...
I mean, that's one thing that we've been recommending too. We've worked with quite a few car automotive companies, and I've said 360 videos, you know, numerous times, because you want to have a look around. You want to see what it's like to sit in that vehicle.
You know, that gives me a feel, doesn't it? That gives me a feel for the dash, the sort of driving position and the sort of view you get from it. And again, I just wanted to show that because I think it is a nice touch. There is a use for these 360 videos. Or 360 interactive pictures. I think there is a really good use for it. So again, just stumbled across Volvo. By the sounds of it, I think they're doing a lot of the right things. They're kind of trying to move things forward, but they're still staying true, I think, to that tradition of family and sort of
security.
Completely.
Interesting, you see there as well, Rob, doing that 360, a steering wheel, because just looking at, I don't know if you've got the VW Buzz one there, the ID Buzz, Rob.
Yep, I have.
But just looking at where the cars of the future are going, the VW Buzz is kind of the next transporter replacement for the camper.
You're talking about this beauty, aren't you?
I'm talking about that beauty, yes.
Seen that.
This is a concept. Yeah, this is a concept car, but and it was released, I think, last year.
Yep.
As a concept, but hopefully, you know, they reckon 600 miles on a single charge.
That's not bad, is it?
That's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
around
for an electric.
the current Tesla's about 250, 300.
Yeah, so you know,
That's
600 really can hold up to 8 people.
Yeah.
And 0 to 60 in 6 seconds for something, you know, of that build and of, you know, that ilk. That's not bad, is it?
That's not bad at all.
Camper.
Exactly, and then
because it is styled on the old camper, isn't it?
It nods towards it, and obviously with such a long wheelbase, there's a lot of room inside, but. There's no steering wheel. I don't know if we've got a shot of it, but there's. Don't worry if not, Rob.
I've got one better. I think we have a video. Do you want to actually see a little bit of a video of it?
See, that freaks me out.
Yeah, that's the bit that freaks me out. I think when you look at it on their website too, they don't labour too much on the fact it doesn't have a steering wheel until you get into the.
I need to see this. I want to see the interior of this one.
I'm gonna get comfy. Sorry, Paul. Can you see?
Like a smile lit up.
There you go.
These are the smartest hipsters that I've ever seen.
They are very smart, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think as well there's, you know, lots of questions over what the car of the future will actually be.
Yeah.
You know, a place for entertaining.
Yeah.
Not just
doing business.
doing business.
It's not just sat there behind the wheel, wasted time behind the car, behind the wheel. You're going to actually be able to do other things for the first time.
I personally can't wait to see this move on from concept to reality.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
Really kind of feature lifestyle led, but the features of the actual vehicle, you know, that the steering wheel, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's more of just a pad.
Unnerving, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, they said that it's obviously illegal in the UK to have.
To use, at the moment.
But that's only for the next 2 or 3 years, they say, while they do tests and whatnot. Because I know that Tesla, you can download the app, what's the right word for it? I'm not sure. Every Tesla vehicle
the firmware,
right now,
the firmware for the car
has the capability of you to click the button, pay $5,000, I think it is. Then you can have a self-driving car, like automated on your car. So it's just introduced. So every Tesla car. That's really scary. So you could actually put it on your car now and just drive around illegally.
Would you do it?
I'm not recommending that. I would have a little try. If I was rich, I'd have a little try. For £5 grand, I don't think I would.
You'd probably take it to like private land somewhere, like an old aerodrome, and have a little drive.
Just click the start button and just slowly...
And just sit there like this, just on your own.
So no one found out at dark, night time.
Yeah. But I love again, you know, when we're talking about tradition meets new, I love the fact that the design of it is straight away you're like, that's based on a camper van, because it is like the new version.
The advert's shot really nicely.
Yeah.
They are the most glamorous looking hipsters that I've ever seen in my life. It's a very lifestyle kind of video.
I think, you know, concepts often end up being distilled down as well, so you may well see a distillation of quite a lot of that, but it's exciting to see it in
Don't
that
you think that's a shame when that happens?
I do.
Yeah, because that looks really cool.
It does.
Yeah, I like that.
Nice
I
one.
like that. I found something else. Now, there's no link here, so I'm just going to kind of just move on. But it is kind of innovation and technology driven. And again, it's come up in other podcasts, chatbots. And I think they're changing the industry. I think the whole sort of car dealership side of the industry, I think consumers are demanding something a bit different, you know, almost bringing the showroom to the house or that sort of constant access. Chatbots are helping with the constant access sort of thing, the side of things. So I've seen a few dealerships. Mercedes were kind of trailblazing with, you go to their website and you can say, you know, the chatbot will ask you, well, what are you here for today? And the response is, well, I'm looking for an SUV. And then this chatbot starts to have a very human feeling conversation with you, asking, well, what do you want to use it for? How many miles do you want to do? How many people are likely to be in the vehicle? So on and so forth. And then by the end of it, after that conversation, the chatbot is again directing the user through to the right model. It might already have some custom options added that fit your answers. But again, from just doing a bit of research, I know chatbots are huge at the moment, but again, I'm seeing it a lot in the car industry. There's a real use for helping those early interactions through without having to put people on the phones, answering questions, to get a lot of those preliminary sort of questions out the way. So again, I see that changing. And the other thing I saw around innovation was kind of bringing that showroom into people's homes. So, you know, Volvo tried to do it a little bit there, going, this is what the car's like on the inside. You can move around and have a look. But also with the growth of holographic technologies, you know, we've got HoloLens here. I downloaded a presentation for a car brand I've never heard of. But this presentation was amazing. It literally beamed the car into your room and you could walk around it, look inside it, and it's absolutely fantastic. And do you know what? I think there's a lot of money being invested at the moment in holographic content for the car industry. I know Ford,
so well,
Volvo, all these are trailblazing it. So again, just a couple of things that I've seen. I've got nothing to show you on screen here, but it was just a couple of sort of areas where I'm seeing a shift.
I just picked up on something you said a minute ago about dealerships as well. Because I think there's a sort of shift that a dealership is not a place that you're sold to, but it's a place that you're welcomed into. And you're literally just shown around as opposed to it being blatant selling. I think moving on from that, I think it was Peugeot I read, you can literally buy a car now online in about 30 minutes and even get a guaranteed high exchange price.
Yeah.
So it just
all online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
But also in the dealerships as well.
Yeah.
It's still going on. You've only got to go to I didn't know if we'd mentioned the T word, but the Tesla.
Yeah.
They've got them in shopping centres, which is
which makes sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely,
You are
makes
shopping.
perfect sense.
Yeah, because it's a whole experience with Tesla, because they don't sell through anyone else, do they? It's directly through their own.
They also don't have any marketing spend, like $0. They spend nothing on marketing at all. And then obviously in February, Elon stuck it. Oh, he stuck it in the space, didn't he?
Yeah.
Via his SpaceX program, he got Tesla up in space.
Yeah,
Amazing.
he did.
Which is pretty cool, but he's had a little bit of a hoo-ha this week, hasn't he? He's gone a bit cray-cray.
Yeah, he's since football, schoolboy footballers trapped in a cave, he's been on a bit of a spiral, hasn't he?
Yeah, he said that he wants to take it private, doesn't he? He wants to take Tesla potentially private. Yeah. So there's been uproar, and apparently he may have been on some substances when he tweeted that.
Oh, wow.
Allegedly. No, but anyway.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
But Tesla are awesome. I love their showrooms and everything. Yeah. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And
talking of football, who's come back? Thierry
Henry. I hadn't seen this before. Paul showed me just quickly before the podcast. Thierry Henry, Vavavoom.
Back with his Vavavoom for Renault. Yeah, obviously off the back of World Cup success, he's back with The Vavavoom. I don't know if we've got the advert.
There is no
okay.
advert. I do remember the original adverts, though, going back to when I was about 22 years ago.
Well, yeah, apparently in 2004, Vavavoom was entered into the Oxford English Dictionary. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So that's 14 years ago.
It was quite a while back,
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, interesting to see. Just
Hey, Bobby,
bring in-
Vavavoom. I
Yeah.
remember him saying that.
Yeah, I think we
vaguely
can all remember it,
I
even if we
vaguely
weren't
remember.
around. Everybody seems to remember Vavavoom.
So basically, obviously, France won the World Cup. He's all over TV, being a pundit, he was coaching Belgium at the World Cup. Not coaching, he was one of the coaches for Belgium. So obviously, off the back of that, there was a lot of kind of people like the adverts, Vavavoom. So that's why now's the time they struck while the iron's hot, got him back.
People quite like him as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
generally.
Yeah, I think brand influencers are massive in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
I think you see so many adverts that are relying on a face, a famous face, and
We had
yeah,
Matthew
he's
McConaughey with Lowe. I can't remember the car.
Yeah.
It wasn't Lexus. But he did Lowe. He did a whole suite. They must have paid him a fortune. They were like mini movies.
yeah.
But you also see some really bad ones. There's some really bad examples as well that I had a look at in some research. I didn't bring any with me, but there's some really bad celebrity endorsements. You just think, oh god, it's
Yeah.
so cringe.
And some, you've got to pick someone who fits your brand values, haven't you? You've got to pick someone that really, he's a wholesome guy. He's charismatic. I don't know if it really completely fits Renault, but yeah, no offence if anyone drives a Renault.
I
Seems to
have a
age
Renault.
either, does he?
No, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
age
No, he
at all.
doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Same.
But again, yeah, I remember the old adverts, but I need to see his face appearing again on some of these
Yeah.
new ones. I haven't seen it.
Keep an eye open for him.
Mr. Thierry Henry, a legend. Is there any other ones? Anything else that
Talking
we've
about
seen?
legends, this isn't an ad or anything, but Bonhams, or the auction house. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've got a
I've
nice
heard of
little
Bonhams.
pick for us there, Rob. They're doing an auction next month in the US, and this thing is an 1870 Husqvarna.
Steve McQueen.
Absolutely.
I've seen what it
Need
is
I say
now.
any
No
more?
way.
On any Sunday, the film in which Steve McQueen rode this Husqvarna is going under the hammer. I think it looks absolutely delicious myself, but I've not quite got the budget to stretch. It's going to go between
starting?
59 and 78,000 pounds.
Surely it'd be more. I would think it'd be more than £80,000. It's the bike Steve McQueen rode.
It certainly is. Well, he
It was iconic.
absolutely. So yeah,
Wow.
Huh.
just thought I'd bring this one.
I
to
like
You're
that.
not buying that
attention.
then, Paul. You're
I'm-
not gonna...
I may well, I may, as I get closer
Sell
to
your house
the
and
6th
just-
of October when the auction is, I might put the house on the market and see if I can.
Start counting those pennies.
That's great.
No, that's really good. That's really good. I didn't click straight away. I was like, oh, why is he showing this? And then I saw Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Wow. So it still works, it says.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. All still
Oh
in
my
full
goodness,
working
that's
order.
amazing.
Brilliant.
That's absolutely amazing.
And good
All
luck
right.
to the Brit riders at the MotoGP this weekend, just following on from all things two-wheel there.
Where is the MotoGP this week?
Silverstone.
Is it Silverstone this week? Oh,
On
I
the
saw the signs
doorstep,
up. We
yeah.
live quite near to Silverstone,
Yeah.
so we've seen the signs up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I think we might
Are you
get...
going?
Unfortunately not, no.
Oh.
But, yeah, it's happening this weekend.
All we're
This
going to hear is...
weekend.
"Meow."
Right. Has anyone got anything else that they wanted to show or bring up?
No.
I think we've covered everything
Yeah.
there. Rob.
I'm looking forward to this prize.
Well, do you know what? From popular demand, people are saying, why don't you do a quiz anymore?
Ah, okay.
And I've put together, it's just a short one. We're not going to prolong this, we're not going to make it long-winded, but it's automotive related.
Is
And I've
there a
got-
prize?
There is a prize.
What is the prize?
There's some
It's
party
behind you.
rings. There's some party rings.
Oh.
It's
Oh.
party rings.
I meant the bike, Rob.
Oh, and you have a prize. Do you want to take part in this quiz?
Go on then, Rob.
Yeah. love
Okay.
to.
All right, 3 questions. Are you ready? And I've tried to keep it kind of creative, marketing related. Are you ready? This one is a multiple choice. This one is on social media. What automotive brand has the largest following on Instagram? Have a little think. This is Instagram. Is it A, Ferrari? Is it B, BMW? Is it C, Skoda? Or is it D, Tesla?
Ooh.
Just a quick recap. Ferrari, BMW, Skoda or Tesla?
There's 2 for me. I'm annoyed that last one came in.
See if you
2.
can get it. We can't have 2, guys. Don't be greedy. You can have one.
My
Nice.
gut said
Come on, Camilla.
Ferrari.
Yeah,
my gut said Ferrari.
But you threw Skoda in
But
there,
then-
Rob.
Could be a red herring.
You think Skoda?
Do you want the answer? Ferrari didn't make it into the top 3.
Wow.
Neither did Skoda. BMW has 12.9 million followers on Instagram. That is the biggest car brand on Instagram in terms of number of followers, closely followed by Mercedes. The next one's quite interesting, Lamborghini in third place.
See, that's why I thought Ferrari would be higher.
Yeah, me too.
It's a supercar.
Me too. So quite interesting. BMW is kind of based on followers, ruling Instagram.
What was Tesla? Was Tesla just like long down there?
There's a whole list somewhere. I haven't got it all printed off.
Oh,
so nil point
wasn't there
for both the guys.
Oh, Camilla.
Okay, this one isn't multiple choice.
Party ring.
It's basically whether or not you know the answer. And this is on kind of brand design. What does the BMW logo represent?
It's a propeller from the Bayer
That's what I think
working
too.
days, I believe.
You didn't know
I
that,
knew that. It's a propeller.
Our creative director is correct. The white and blue checker boxes are supposed to be a stylized representation of a white-silver propeller blade spinning against a clear blue sky. And a lot of people don't realise that because their history was aircraft engines and jet engines and things like propellers, propeller
Paul
engines.
would definitely know that.
So
His love of Concorde.
I've got to give a point to Paul there. He
Very
jumped
good.
straight
Propellers
in.
on Concorde, but you know.
And again, I was struggling for some questions, so just one last one.
Go
And
on.
this is about YouTube and the most ad views.
Okay.
So this is an advert which was put onto YouTube, not a pop-up advert, a standard advert that was put onto YouTube, and we're going for which one had the most views. So 3 options: the Kia Niro,
It's got to be that.
the Audi Q7, or the BMW 3 Series advert. Now, obviously, you haven't seen all of these adverts.
I'm going to go for B.
You're going for Audi Q7.
Yes.
Most views.
Did we get any clues as to when that went out?
At the end of, well, I can't tell the exact
Oh,
date. It was in
okay.
2017. It was last year. And this is the most viewed car ad of all time on
I'm going to go
YouTube.
for Kia.
And you're going for Kia. The winner with 25.9 million views is Kia. Mr. Paul Richings. 2
Look how
points to
happy
you.
he looks.
0 for you. I'm sorry. No party rings for you today, Miss Smith.
Damn it.
And do you know what that advert was?
No, was it a Super Bowl one?
It was a...
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
Paul Richings is on fire. Okay, yes, it was a Super Bowl advert. It went out in the 2017 Super Bowl. It stars the comedian actress Melissa McCarthy. You might,
She's in
Bridesmaids,
yeah.
and it's hilarious about all these. She's got all these kind of good for the planet, save the whales, save the trees, and she's driving this car to get from place to place. But it's hilarious. It's shot like a comedy. It's absolutely hilarious. It's had the most views. It's caused quite a stir. And that's the advert with the most views on YouTube.
Bucket of party rings then, please, Rob.
Coming your way, Mr. Richings. Well, it's been a whistle-stop tour. Oh, anything else you want to add?
No, I've enjoyed it.
It's been a whistle-stop tour today of just some of the bits we've seen in the automotive industry that either got us looking, thinking twice. And it's an interesting industry. As we said at the top of the show, it's quite emotive. There's so many different ways you can approach branding, marketing, advertising. And we've seen some examples today. That's it for this week.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks for hosting.
It's been a pleasure. I know we looked at this a lot today, but it was quite a visual episode. It's like, eek. Anyway, we'll be back next week with another topic. Thanks to our guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
I've got a quiz at the end, right? So we're going to whiz at quite a speed. And then
Is
we'll
there a
get to-
prize?
Have you got a gift?
No, I can make up, pretend we've got one. We'll sort it out. Okay?
We should do real gifts.
Yeah, we should.